What's up, college football fans? Don't forget to check out and order your copy of Stiff Arming Football Myths, our latest football game plan book. So go on our website at footballgameplan.com/books and get your copy. We have these available in paperback as well as in PDF form. Welcome to footballgameplan.com, where football makes sense. I'm Emery Hunt, the czar of the playbook. Bring you our college football Week 1 preview between the Wisconsin Badgers and the LSU Tigers. Now let's take a look at both teams in this matchup, starting with Wisconsin.
Wisconsin comes into this ball game with one of the best running backs in the country in Melvin Gordon, who rushed for over 1,600 yards last season at a whopping 7.8 yards a carry. He's running behind a veteran offensive line led by center Dan Bolts and right tackle Rob Haverstein. Both were all Big Ten performers last year. Now, the passing game is the biggest question mark with quarterback Joel Stave, who's inconsistent, and now he's losing his top two options in Jared Abbrederis and also Jacob Peterson. Now, they're going to rely on guys like Jordan Frederick at 6'4", 210 pounds, who's a junior, to step up and be the guy this season. Now, defensively, the Badgers lost a lot in the front seven, only returning 3 starters, and the good news is that the secondary is where those 3 starters are, led by strong safety Michael Caputo, who's an outstanding ball player. Now, having experienced talent on the back end could help defensive coordinator Dave Aranda be more aggressive in his attempts to stop the LSU ground game. As for the Tigers in this ball game, they are planning to go with sophomore Anthony Jennings or true freshman Brandon Harris, who played extremely well in the spring at quarterback. Both QBs are equally as talented, but will have to develop that chemistry with new wide receivers. The Tigers lose both Odell Beckham and Jarvis Landry, so it's up to an influx of talented freshmen like Malachi Dupree and Trey Quinn, as well as redshirt freshmen Avery Patterson and John Diarra to grow up quick. And speaking of talented freshmen, all eyes will be on true freshman running back Leonard Fournette in the backfield, who is the #1 high school recruit in the country. Now, he'll be backing up Terrence McGee in the backfield, but more than likely we'll see his fair share of carries. Defensively, LSU has some questions on the inside at defensive tackle and middle linebacker. That battery can't afford an off day versus the Badgers' Melvin Gordon. Otherwise, he can gash them for big plays downfield. Keep an eye on defensive end Jamario Rasco and also free safety Jalen Mills. Both could push for all conference honors this year for LSU. And I would also keep an eye on 2 linebackers in Kendall Beckwith and Ronnie Feist, 2 reserves that, in my opinion, need to be on the field. Now, here are some coaching points for both teams in this ball game. For Wisconsin, defensively, they have to own the line of scrimmage. Like I've said before, they lost a lot in the front seven, more in particular Bo Allen, the defensive tackle, and Chris Boylan, the All-American linebacker, and they have to be able to stop the running game of LSU. And they have to make those LSU quarterbacks beat the blitz. They're young guys. Anthony Jennings is a sophomore. Brandon Harris, if he plays, is a true freshman. Make these guys beat the blitz consistently, and you can have some success. And it goes without saying, they have to feed Melvin Gordon. He's a guy that can get those chunk plays versus this LSU defense, because again, Wisconsin's offensive line is experienced, and they can lean on that interior of LSU and be able to get those gap plays going for Gordon, who doesn't need much to break a long run. And for LSU, those freshman phenoms have to play big. They have to play like juniors and seniors out there this week versus Wisconsin in order to have success. That's Trey Quinn. That's Malachi Dupree. Also in the backfield, Leonard Fournette. Those guys have to play like juniors and seniors in order for this Tiger offense to really take flight. And I would also get aggressive on the corners. I like the matchup of LSU's secondary going against the inexperienced group of receivers for Wisconsin. That's a battle that they can win more often than not. And the biggest chess match in this ball game will be between offensive coordinator Cam Cameron and defensive coordinator of Wisconsin, Dave Aranda. How well Cameron can game plan versus the pressure and the blitz up front will ultimately determine how well LSU does on offense this week. The X factor for the Badgers will be quarterback Joel Stave. He doesn't have to be a hero. He just has to play efficient football, not turn the ball over, and keep these guys ahead of the chains, and he can have success versus LSU. And for the Tigers, the biggest X factor will be linebacker DJ Welter. He is the weak link versus the running game. He has to step up and fill the hole versus Gordon. Otherwise, Gordon can gash the Tigers for big games. Welter has to play a huge game. Otherwise, you're going to see those other linebackers that I mentioned earlier get into the mix. Now, here are some pro prospects you want to keep an eye on in this ball game for Wisconsin. They lost a lot last year as well as LSU, but right now they have 3 guys that are on my radar. Melvin Gordon, an outstanding tailback with breakaway speed. Rob Havenstein is an outstanding right tackle, played well over the course of his career. And Michael Caputo, the strong safety at 6'1", 206, a guy that's definitely great in the box, but also can hold his own in short area coverage. Now for LSU, look at Lael Collins, a guy that could have came out last year. He was also the high school teammate of Jeremy Hill, the former LSU running back that now plays for the Cincinnati Bengals. And I'm a big fan of what they have on the defensive side with Jamaria Rasco, 6'3", 262, a guy that can definitely bring it off the edge. And Jalen Mills, a guy that can play corner or safety at 6'1", 189 pounds. He's a junior. You look at running back Terrence McGee, another outstanding tailback coming out of that LSU backfield. Before he was coaching up Russell Wilson, Darrell Bevell was an outstanding quarterback for Wisconsin. He started in 1993, leading the Badgers to their first Rose Bowl bid since 1963, and Bevell finished his career as the Badgers' career-leading passer with 7,686 yards. Nicknamed the Ruston Rifle, Bert Jones is definitely a campus legend, becoming LSU's first quarterback selected consensus All-American, and as a senior, he finished 4th in the Heisman Trophy voting while also being named Sporting News College Football Player of the Year. Jones finished his higher career with over 3,200 yards passing and 28 touchdowns in only 17 games. I like LSU in this ball game. Both teams have questions coming into this matchup, but I'm more inclined to trust LSU's passing game, even with younger weapons at receiver and at quarterback, as opposed to Wisconsin's. The one thing we know LSU can do well is play the run, and that'll ultimately put the onus on Stave to make plays consistently in the passing game, and I don't think he can, so I like LSU to come away victorious versus Wisconsin. And also, don't forget to check out every Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, College Football Now on our Football Game Plan Radio Network, located at blogtalkradio.com/footballgameplan.